Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. I've just been thinking, I wanted to pop in here and I've been talking to a lot of people recently who are like taking a break from social media, and I think it's a pretty common thing. Like every so often it seems like there's this big influx of people who want to limit their social media exposure or participation for whatever reason. Lent starts tomorrow, so a lot of people want to take this time to be more reflective in their faith or in their personal relationships, and I totally get that. And as I was thinking about why people want to take a break from social media and why I sometimes feel like I want to take a break from social media, I was thinking about kind of like, what do we gain from that? So you take a break, but then you come back, right? It's kind of like a diet. Like if you go on a diet and then go off a diet, like your end result is that you're probably still going to be where you started, right? Like if you take a break from your social media so that you can be more engaged with your family, be more connected with your friends, have a better outlook on life, not feel weighed down by whatever negativity it is that you think you're avoiding by taking that hiatus. When you go back, it's all still going to be there, right? So like, did you really gain anything by taking that break? I would argue not. And so as we're coming up on this season where a lot of people are thinking about taking a break from social media, I wanted to give you my ideas for how you could maybe change your approach to social media and actually be better off than you would be from just taking a break from it. So I have 3 things that I want to suggest for you. There are 3 things that I am choosing to do. I started a couple weeks ago, like being more intentional about this. And it feels better to be in the interwebs, so to speak. And so I encourage you to think about these 3 things. So the first thing is choose wisely. So the great thing about social media, the great thing about Facebook, the great thing about Instagram or any of these platforms that you use is that they're your choice, right? Like you pick who you follow. And at this point, you don't even have to unfriend people that you don't want to see their posts. Like you can mute people on Instagram. You can unfollow people on Facebook. You don't have to unfriend people. You don't have to be dramatic. Like you don't have to say anything. But if you find that there's somebody who every time their posts come up in your feed or when you're scrolling, they bring you down or you're irritated or whatever. If it's not lifting you up, I challenge you to unfollow them. Unfollow them. If you want to unfriend them, like do that, whatever, mute them. And then find ways to add in positive energy into those feeds. Like there's so much out there, like whatever you're interested in, you can follow a ton of awesome, inspirational, uplifting people or products or, publications about those things. Your feed is your choice. So if you are finding that you're being dragged down by social media, I challenge you to figure out why, figure out who is dragging you down, remove them, and then find some uplifting sources of energy for yourself. And the one piece to that is like, we don't all have to agree. This isn't to say you should be filling your feeds with people who like think exactly the way you do. There's value in being challenged. There's value in diversity of thought. So But make sure that you're being diversified by people who can respect where you're at and you can respect where they're at. And it can be a positive back and forth conversation or interaction or just observation. Like you don't have to agree with everyone in order to still get something positive out of following them. So, and you can have people that you really like in real life that you don't want to follow on whatever. Like it should not be personal. Your feed is up to you. It's what you are bringing into your own life and nobody else is looking at your feed. So that's the first one. Choose wisely. The second one is stop liking things. So I was listening to a podcast by Cal Newport. Well, it wasn't by Cal Newport. He was a guest on someone's podcast and he was talking about his new book called Digital Minimalism, which I would totally recommend listening to podcasts about or grabbing the book. I haven't read the book, but it's very interesting content. But one of the things that he talks about is how on social media we have this need to feel validated by likes and views and all this kind of stuff, right? And it doesn't really give us anything. It's this, we have this instant like dopamine release. When we check it and we see that, 10 more people liked it or 20 more people liked it or whatever, we're like, yeah, I got these likes. But as I was listening to what he was saying was that it's a false sense of excitement and like pleasure for us though. And it's very addictive. So the social media companies have designed the like button to be addictive so that we keep scrolling, so that we scroll faster, so that we look at the ads, so that we go to the ads. It's not about interaction. And what I realized when I was listening to this podcast was I could tell you like approximately how many likes my posts get, whether it's on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever. But what I realized was I don't necessarily know who is liking my posts, right? And the posts that I like, I'm sure that the people who I'm liking them don't actually see that like I liked that post. And I'm sure they don't really care either, right? Like you do care in the front part of your brain, you do care. You're posting things because you want people to interact with them. And yet, when we're just liking things, we're not interacting. We're not adding value to anyone. It's not helping to build any kind of relationship. So what I have decided to do and what I challenge you to do is if you're scrolling, if you're putzing around, stop liking things, start commenting. So like when you see a picture that you like from a friend, maybe it's a picture of, her snuggling her new baby, or she's got a new pair of running shoes she really likes or whatever. Instead of liking it, why don't you comment and say why you like it? Like, why would you like that picture? Like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Precious Snuggles. Like, I love that brand of running shoes too. Hope you had a great run. Like, challenge yourself. If the point of social media is to be connected, I think that we are doing ourselves a disservice. We're doing our relationships and friendships a disservice by merely liking things and not really interacting, right? And so especially if you feel like you want to take a break from social media because you feel like you want to connect more with people in your life, that's great. That's totally fine. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take a break from social media, but when you come back, or if you're feeling this way and then you're like, oh, I don't know if I really want to, try to just actually connect a little bit more. Take the extra 5 seconds to write an actual comment or send a message to these people. Reach out, have conversations with people, okay? Because that's what it's here for. We're not here to be some, bot for the advertisers. We're on social media because we want to interact, not because we joined, any of these things because we wanted more clothing advertisements or shoes we can't afford, right? We're here because we want to interact with the people we're connected with. So that's something that I think can be really impactful. So stop liking, start commenting, and then set a time limit for yourself. If you feel like you are wasting too much time on social media, pick a time of day or a couple of times of day, set a time limit, set a drop dead time limit. Like, I will turn off my social media at X time, and be done with it, and pick up a daggone book or go talk to your spouse or go call your mom. Like, go do something else that's going to connect you with the people you want to be connected with, because that's really, we can all see that that's where the important relationships are. But we do live in this age where we can be very connected with people that we only know online or that we only stay connected with online. We move around all the time. Social media is a huge blessing for me, not only in my business, but in my personal life. If we didn't have FaceTime and Facebook and Instagram, there's a lot of people that we wouldn't get to share our life with, who we love and care about. And so it is a blessing, and it can be really uplifting if you're intentional about it. So it's like anything else. You have to be intentional, and you have to decide where your boundaries are, and you cannot let somebody else dictate what your boundaries are. So whether that is your energy, boundary or your time boundary or your connection boundary. Like you need to take the time and you need to figure out what feels good for you. But that has been on my mind the past couple of days as we're heading into this season of Lent and really thinking about like, what are the things that are important and that we need to be focusing on, and what has been maybe too indulgent, and what do we need to sacrifice a little bit, and where can we focus our positive energy just in the next few weeks and moving forward, that will feel more uplifting and encouraging to everybody, because that is the point, right? So that's all. Just thought I'd share that with you because I have been enjoying it. I clean out my feed all the time. I'm enjoying just commenting on things, and my social media is off at 8:30, period. And it's empowering. It's empowering to also tell people like, hey, I love you and I love myself, and I will talk to you later because now I'm going to go do something else. So don't be afraid to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to set limits. It's healthy. All right.